Good evening, everybody, and welcome to day number 48. Bob Green, hey, brother, been going on vacation for a week at a car show. We missed you and love you, brother. Praying, send a lot of love and prayers for Ukraine. Welcome there, Bob. Tennessee. Larry and Debbie, supporting you and Ukraine. Thank you. Kim Porter, North Carolina. Folks are jumping in from all over the place as normal. Thanks to all of you guys. We've got a full night. In fact, probably tonight, we get a better picture of where this war is going. Quite a few things happened today that really tell us where it's going. It's very simple to see. It is not rocket science at all. And although Putin and Lukashenko met in the place of rocket science for Russia, way over in eastern Russia, but we will be talking about that. I've got video about that, and I will translate for you guys what they actually said. And I think it will give us all a very, very clear picture of where we're going. So thank you for being here tonight. It is a full night. So today I was out doing my civic duty. I was on jury duty. Yes, I was on jury duty today. Really, really interesting. In fact, we were there for most of the day, and then when we were leaving, I was walking out and heading back to the car, and a guy was beside me. I didn't know him. We were just walking out, and he kept complaining. Oh, I can't believe we got to be here for this jury duty. Oh, messed my whole day up. Oh, this was terrible. I looked at him. I said, you know, you could be in Mariupol getting bombed. He goes, you know what? Thank you for that. Jury duty's not that bad. So help that fella out today, hopefully. Anyway, we've got a lot to cover, a lot to go over, and it's going to be good. So thank you guys all for being here all over the country, multiple countries, and I see you all chatting and talking. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, all of those things. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the like. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like. If you're watching on your TV, when you're done in the hour, just hit the like button. It just really helps get the information out to more people. In fact, today when I was in jury duty, I was sitting there and my phone started buzzing, and this guy started communicating with me from New Zealand. And he says, man, he said, mate, I just want you to know that I've been watching all of your stuff from New Zealand, and it's the only place I can get information. So he watches in the morning. So if you are here, sir, welcome from New Zealand. If not, you'll be watching in a little while. He said he watches every day. So that's good to hear. So let's get started. I was out today there at the jury duty. And when I was walking up to the courthouse, and for those of you that are local here in Pennsylvania, in the area where I live, you'll notice that 19 and 62 there. But I just happened to be walking past that car on the way up to the courthouse, and look at the Ukrainian flag on the back of the car. Of course, had to snap a picture of it. And then today, somebody, and I appreciate you guys sending in pictures. Love it. Keep sending in pictures every time you see something. When I get them, I try to put them up so others can see them. So evidently, Arbys is supporting Ukraine. Even if they're not, we're going to call it support of Ukraine. But actually, the picture was sent in, and the person said, yes, Arbys is supporting Ukraine with the blue and yellow. So, folks, if you're out and about and looking for your lunch during your daytime and you have to make a decision, maybe move Arbys up to the top of the list. Medic Trevor says there are flags on the houses here in Texas. That is awesome. You know, it's a big deal, folks. It's a really big deal. This is why we're focused on this. Got some good news for you tonight. Probably going to blow you away. Probably. I think so. Winterberger sent this picture in. This is their flag pole out in their yard. American flag on top, Ukrainian flag flying right below it. So, guys, continue to send the pictures in. Thank you. And if you send them in and I get them in time, I absolutely will share them. United Nations came out today with their numbers officially through April the 10th. Now, this is a joke, but this is the UN official numbers: 4,335 civilian casualties, 2,493 civilian injuries. We know that's inaccurate. Samaritan's Purse is active in Ukraine. Samaritan's Purse is the humanitarian organization for Billy Graham, Franklin Graham, and most people know about Samaritan's Purse. So they are in Ukraine working. And in fact, I've got a letter here from Ukraine from a gentleman serving in, he's in the western part of Ukraine. They asked not to give the exact location, but he's in western Ukraine and serving people. So I want to give a big shout out tonight to Josh. Great guy. He's from California, and he's got an update, little update for you guys. This is Samaritan's Purse. This is an American writing on the ground in Ukraine. He writes, "We have 7 different medical facilities running throughout the country, and since the beginning of the response about a month ago, we have seen and treated over 4,000 patients. The hospital that I am personally working at has seen over 1,000. We are seeing a lot of IDP, internally displaced people. We talk about that every night, and refugees fleeing from the war. We're treating," and listen, "we're treating a lot of gunshot wounds, shrapnel, broken bones, burns, internal damages from bomb blast and shellings, as well as a lot of mental and emotional trauma. It's common for our patients to get to us and completely break down because they finally feel safe and cared for after sometimes weeks of being injured on their feet and fleeing through frozen parts of the country. The church here has connected in spite of differences, working together to evacuate people and find them the care and lodging they need. It's really cool to see how everyone is working together. Our patients are constantly improving and going on their way. Praise God, we've had good outcomes for all of them so far. I've been promoted to the charge nurse for the hospital, and in a week, I will be taking over as the nursing manager role as well. So I'll be running this entire hospital here from that side on the clinical and staffing side, both with international and national staff, while still taking care of patients myself. So thank you for keeping me in your prayers." So folks, that is direct update from Mr. Josh serving there with Samaritan's Purse in Ukraine. Folks, this is Komalnetsky, Ukraine. We talk about Komalnetsky. This is the Bug River, and looking right across the river. In fact, if you look in that picture, I'll make it a little bigger for you. If you look in that picture, you see across the river, it's a lake river, a blue and yellow building. Okay? Right to the left of that is where Zhenya lives. So if you've been wondering where Zhenya lives, and by the way, he's doing well, he's exhausted with going to the border and back yesterday. Right to the left of the blue and yellow house there, that is where Zhenya lives. Unfortunately, Komalnetsky was hit again with a missile attack going after infrastructure. Fortunately, no people were killed in the attack, but the target was hit, and more of the infrastructure, defensive infrastructure, was hit. And as we know, that's well, it's not that far. We discussed how small Ukraine is. But Komalnetsky was hit. And right before I went on tonight live, Zhytomyr was also just hit. And they hit their marks. Now, big drum roll, please. No, that's not Long John Silver's. Oh my, it does look like Long John Silver's, doesn't it? No, actually, that is on the river there. I've been there so many times. They have a little beach set up, and it's kind of like the beach house where people can go rent things or get a snack. So it's painted in the color of Ukraine. So here is the big question. What musical instrument does PZ play? He is a great guitarist and keyboardist. He's a very, very talented fella. How about one more drum roll? Folks, we are in day 48. And as you know, we are not only updating each night, but we are raising funds, and you guys are doing awesome. You give at our website, www.blwc.org. The link is right there on the main page. We thank you. It is constantly growing and growing and growing. The money is getting there. The support is rolling. They're on the ground doing the work. We're funding them, and it's amazing what all of us together are doing. Now, are you ready? This deserves one more drum roll. Folks, we clipped it, $80,237.32 we have raised in 48 days. This does not include over $3,000 that we sent in January. This is just from day one of the war, where we have been here 48 days in a row. And this does not include the next electronic sweep that happens on Tuesdays. So, folks, how about that? Let me put this message up here. Don Werner, thanks for reading that, Greg. That would be Josh's dad, because I had to get permission to read that letter. And you're very welcome, Don. Don't mess with Ukraine, bud. That's our place. $80,237.32 in 48 days. Folks, that is stinking amazing. I'm just going to tell you. So to all of you, thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, being here each night, communicating together, chatting together, learning, growing together, hearing the truth, and praying, but also putting our money where our mouth is. JDO had a big question last night, and I told him I would get the answer. MOPP, mission-oriented protective posture. JDO, you made me do a lot of studying and reading today while I was sitting in the courtroom in Mercer County. Yes, Ukraine does have MOPP gear, and they have level 4. So I confirmed that. Now, of course, they do not have probably the supply that the United States has, of course. But yes, they do have MOPP. The problem is the amount they have. But just so you know, they do have it. And I told you I'd get the answer for you. Folks, one of the things that we always watch is trains. I told you that if we keep an eye on the train map, you will know who is controlling the territory. So if you look everywhere in the red, all around up toward Kharkiv, wrapping around to the east, down to the southeast, and then down to the south, everywhere in red, trains are not running. This is some pretty big areas, large cities. A lot of civil infrastructure is being attacked and destroyed. Of course, we know about the Kramatorsk attack. Other train infrastructures are being attacked. And everywhere you see a red, there is no train activity for Ukraine. So evacuations are difficult because there's no train. They're having to go with cars. They're being shelled, sneaking out at night, I mean, it would be like a movie. You know, I read you the letter that Josh wrote from Samaritan's Purse, and he was telling us the stories of the folks there. It really is a challenge. It's not as simple as we think it is. Next up, because I'm getting to the big story here in just a moment of the day. Intelligence update: fighting in eastern Ukraine will intensify over the next 2 to 3 weeks as Russia continues to refocus its efforts there. Russian attacks remain focused on Ukrainian positions near Donetsk and Lugansk, with further fighting around Kherson and Mykolaiv and a renewed push towards Kramatorsk. I'm telling you, they want Kramatorsk. They've already got Izum, but the reason they want Kramatorsk is because of the central location. We will be looking at the map in just a moment. And Russian forces are continuing to withdraw from Belarus, but that would be in eastern Belarus, not in western Belarus. They're growing in western Belarus. It's a posturing. But in eastern Belarus, they're wrapping around Belgorod, resupplying, and still coming. In fact, there are quite a few troops coming from Rostov. I'll show you that in a moment as well. I've actually got some video of it for you tonight. Transnestr, folks, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. You're probably not going to see it in your news or your updates you watch during the day, but typically, most of the time, we're a day or two ahead. Transnestr, that region that I've taught you about between Moldova and Ukraine. There are quite a few things going on there. Let me explain. Yes, the airport in Tiraspol is being set up for more military activity. Yes, Russian troops are in the Transnestr. But here's the big deal today. Today, Ukraine sent troops to the border. In the green circle, you can see Moldova outlined, the border there, and then the kind of the light beige color circled in green. That is the Transnestr region, and today, Ukraine sent troops to that border. They have border guards there at the checkpoints and different things, but that's not what we're talking about. Ukraine reinforced that border. All that's telling you is something is going on. Now, with that said, let's hop over here for a moment to the map, and then I'll explain why that's a problem. So we were talking about this area here first. Let's start here. We're going to go with red. So here's Kharkiv. Here is Izum, which is the center now of Russian operations there. But the intelligence report was they want Kramatorsk because Kramatorsk is located right here. And then you have Donetsk. And then right below Donetsk, you have Mariupol. Can you see the straight line here? That's the line that they want to establish. Why? There is a major highway that runs Kharkiv, Izum, Kramatorsk, Donetsk, Mariupol. Now you understand why they want those 5 cities. Because then they can just flow with resources and supplies on those roadways. Kharkiv, Izum, Kramatorsk, Donetsk, down to Mariupol. Very, very key. Of course, Mariupol, unfortunately, is getting ready to fall. Unless a miracle happens, folks, it's imminent. Donetsk, already done. Kramatorsk, battling. Izum, done. Kharkiv, trouble. Surrounded. Not on the Kyiv side, but basically on 3 sides, and it is non-stop shelling against Kharkiv. So you can see that line there. Now, if we come over This is the Transnestr area we're talking about. And here's the deal. Ukraine had to put troops here today. So if they put troops there, we know that the report also said the push for Mykolaiv, they already have Kherson. I showed you last night the strategy around Energodar, which is here. Melitopol's way taken, folks. Melitopol's gone. So this is what they have. It's no bueno. They want Odessa. And from here, they're already pushing forward to Kryvyi Rog. Zaporozhye is next. If this line is taken, Dnipro next. And folks, it's just a straight run up to Kyiv. So it's obvious this is the plan. The entire Black Sea, Sea of Azov, is still blockaded, of course. And the troops are rolling. And I will show you about that in just a moment. I've got an update for you on that as well. So that's the deal there. And that's why even this Transnestr region is important, because Ukraine having to push troops over there takes away from where troops could be supporting in other hot areas. It's like a chess game, you know. CNN, and I'm not a CNN guy at all. Have gas attacks been confirmed? Yes, we'll be talking about that in just a moment. And hold on, let me deal with somebody first. There we go. I love it. You know, if you want to come into my chat and have a logical discussion, we can do it. Because I can teach you all about Ukraine and Russia, but don't come in here and tell me something that's stupid. God bless you. Bye. Why Russian TV propaganda is crucial to understanding the war in Ukraine. I want to talk to you about something for a moment. Zhenya, as you know, called in last night live from the border. And you could see the sign there. I taught you a little bit about the culture of CHOP. It's on every road sign in major areas throughout Ukraine. And it's a city about the size of a penny. It's extremely, extremely tiny. Do you think Russia may be behind the shooting and bomb planted in New York City? No, I do not. I think Russia's more worried about Ukraine right now. Not saying it's not possible, but no, I do not think so. So Zhenya, it was on the border. This propaganda issue is a big deal. Each night, if Zhenya's here or it's just me, I try to really teach you guys about it. Well, when the program ended last night, it would have been, we got off about 10 p.m. And my phone rang, and it was Zhenya calling, and he called me, and he was not calling me to talk to me from himself personally, but the family that he was bringing back. They got the daughter out of the border situation. They were coming back to Komalnetsky, and then they would be taken to their own city. He says, man, the family wants to talk to you. And I said, okay. Or the guy driving, they're listening to the program. You need to understand something. I said, what do I need to understand? He goes, you actually understand Ukraine and Russia. I said, yeah, I understand Ukraine and Russia. He goes, but I mean, like, people recognize it when you understand the culture, when you understand the power of propaganda. Even knowing the little thing about the CHOP on the sign. And he goes, we analyzed everything you said in the program last night. I said, okay, what grade do I get? He goes, an A. It was spot on. And a lot of the cultural things, the propaganda wars, he goes, unless you've been here, you've lived in this culture, you've grown up in it, you do not understand the post-Soviet mindset, and it is impossible That is why each night, as you share the stories and you tell a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, it helps for people to understand. It is not as simple. He says, and we appreciate journalists who come and tell the stories and make notice of what's going on in our country. He goes, but most of the time they have no clue what they're talking about. He says, so the group here, you're spot on. I said, well, thank you, bud. And that's why I pulled this out. Why Russian TV propaganda is crucial to understanding the war in Ukraine. CNN actually wrote this article. I did read it, and it was actually spot on, folks. You must understand the culture. And if you would like to learn more about the culture, of course, be here every night from 9 to 10. I'm going to teach you, and I have Ukrainians on here with me, but there are a lot of good resources out there to read. If this is really interesting you, look for some balance sources. YouTube, history of Russia, history of the Soviet Union, history of Ukraine, World War II. These things will really help you understand a lot of the things we talk about in here each night. This is not as simple as just two nations fighting. This is very, very deep. And thank you for being here and wanting to learn. I appreciate that, because it's extremely deep. And this moment in time right here, this is World War II level, where we could be witnessing historical change. We could be right in the middle of it. We shall see. We're watching daily, but it's serious. Before I go there, I want to give you guys just a little clip. I took a couple of clips today. Lukashenko, the president of Belarus, and Vladimir Putin had a meeting. Now, where did they meet? It's very interesting. They met in the Cosmodrome. This is going to blow y'all away where they met. I don't even understand it. But, well, I do understand it, but here. So, folks, I'm going to go here for the map. Okay, let's go blue, of course. Ukraine's right here. That's all the stuff we were just looking at. But what I'm getting ready to show you is right there. That is where Vladimir Putin and Lukashenko met today. I mean, basically just up from Vladivostok. They were closer to America than they were to Ukraine. They went there. Okay, so here's more culture for you. Here's culture for you. Here's what people will say. Well, they met over there because actually they're both over there hiding, and they're somewhere in a bunker in Siberia or in the mountains. So to make this public meeting, they just said they were meeting at the Cosmodrome, and they just showed up there, and that's where the meeting was. No. Folks, anytime in Soviet history when they had to have high-level meetings, they leave Moscow and they would always meet at the Cosmodrome. This is where strategy sessions took place. This is in the middle of nowhere, yes, but they're not hiding there. This is historical. This is not, oh, they're afraid. They're in a bunker. No, they're not. Lukashenko will go back to Minsk. Putin will go back to Moscow. But they flew basically 4,000 miles because that's where we meet. We meet in the Cosmodrome. That's where we have met through the decades. That's why they went there. Not if you hear anything else or read anything else. Viktor Medvedchuk was captured by Ukraine. Yeah, Cosmonauts. Yeah, he was. And that is... Viktor Medvedchuk was captured by Ukraine. That is Vladimir Putin's godfather What does it mean? Nothing. Why? Because Putin doesn't care about anybody other than Steven Seagal and Sergei Lavrov and Lukashenko. So let me show you guys. I'm just going to show you, yeah, meeting places have historical relevance. Spot on, JD. That is exactly why they did it. And if you see anything else out there where, oh, they're hiding or come out of a bunker, baloney. They have not come out of a bunker, folks. I want to show you guys this. This is in Russian language. I put about 45-second clip together just so you can get a feel of the meeting. And then I have translated the key concepts from what Putin and Lukashenko stated. This is the main point of the program. The Steven Seagal connection is so strange. Oh no, he's a traitor. He loves communism. He's been working in Russia for 20 years. I mean, Seagal, he's out there. Jean-Claude Van Damme can whoop him anyway. You know that. And Walker, Texas Ranger, he'll light them both up. I mean, Chuck Norris just steps in the room and people fall down. And Judy Emmerich, we will be getting to the chemical thing in just a minute. So here's a little flavor of the Putin Lukashenko.
Это как в Буче. Вот мы обсуждали эту политику. Все кричат. Ну, надо было ввести очередной пакет, нам это известно.
I'll translate it in a moment.
Мы сегодня обсуждали подробно эту их спецоперацию, психологическую операцию, которую провели англичане.
Что касается Бучи, ну, послушайте, я разговариваю с коллегами из западных стран, часто, до сих пор. И когда они мне говорят «Буча», я спрашиваю, а вы в Раке были когда-нибудь? Вы видели, как этот сирийский город начисто по самую землю был уничтожен сверху американской авиацией?
The American version. I know you can't understand that, but let me tell you, they're bonkers. I have everything translated. I have everything written down, and we can read it. These are the key statements that Vladimir Putin and Lukashenko made today. You know what bugged me today? I found out that Lukashenko, his middle name is Gregory. That's my name. You mean take it one step further for you? His birthday is August the 31st. Look it up on Wikipedia. That's my birthday. I'm not liking how that's going for Lukashenko. Anyway, here's the deal. I'll make it a little bigger for you so you can read it. I have their name by the quote that they made, etc., and you can read with me. The goal of the special operation is noble and will be achieved. That was Putin. Conflict with anti-Russian forces was inevitable. Putin. Together, they discussed the formation of a single defense space of Russia and Belarus, as well as common space infrastructure, not space, outer space, but their landmass together. Putin said, Belarus is a good platform for negotiations with Ukraine. Belarus and Russia have a plan to create a common electricity market. Now, I gave you the video clip during that. This is what Lukashenko said, and anybody that understands Russian knows what he said. This is what he said. Lukashenko said the genocide in Bucha was a British special operation. They are blaming British MI6 for sneaking in, massacring the people in Bucha, and blaming it on Russia. Lukashenko said the West did not destroy us during the Cold War. It is trying to destroy us now. You realize that's not Ukraine he's talking about. That's the West. That would be Europe towards America. Putin on the sanctions. The economy will definitely adjust. It is better for those who impose unjustified restrictions to change their mind. I'm giving you the quotes. Let me interpret that for you. We'll make it fine with the sanctions, no problem. But probably those who sanctioned us need to change their mind. Putin said Russia had no choice but to start a war. Lukashenko said the United States is a destructive support for the world. There must be several points of support. An alliance between Russia, China, and India. That's what Lukashenko said, and in about 5 minutes, I'm going to prove to you this is what they're going for. Lukashenko said when the world goes hungry, they will have to admit that Russian grains should be put on the market. Hey, thank you for that, JDO. I didn't give the year. 1987. Putin, special military operation is going according to plan. Putin, Ukrainian nationalism emerged in the 19th century. It was supported by the Austrian General Staff, accused Ukrainians of genocide of the Jews and Poles during World War II. Today, yes, Vladimir Putin blamed the Ukrainians for the genocide of World War II, not Nazi Germany. If you understood Russian, I could play it for you. That's what he said. Putin stated that the situation in Bucha is a fake. Lukashenko allegedly has the documents to prove that this was a fake. Putin said Europe is humiliated next to the United States, but they are ashamed to say so. Therefore, they make decisions in the interest of the United States, like sanctions against Russia, justifying the Russian aggression. Putin said sanctions will complicate the internal situation in the European Union. Now, here's the big one. Not that they have not all been big. Putin said peace talks and negotiations are at a dead end. Russia's military operation will continue until its full completion and its goals are met. That was the title of the program tonight. And this was a big deal, folks. This is day 48 in the operation, 48 in the war. And Putin and Lukashenko going to the home of the cosmonauts, having their little tours and making their speeches. Do not think this was little. This was a big deal, and this is truly where Russia stands. It's not good. Putin purged 150 of the operatives and agents that work in the inner circle in Moscow, the FSB agents, in response to Russia's botched war with Ukraine. They're already replaced. In fact, the guy there in the picture, his name is Sergei Beseda. He's already put in the gulag. Folks, this is exactly what happened in World War II. Medic Trevor, that means that Putin is ready to go all in on a war effort. Oh, absolutely. There is no doubt in my mind and anybody else that I talk to. All my friends over there, I have friends in the military. I have friends in the government. Putin is not backing up. You do realize Ukraine is doing an amazing job defending their territory with what they have, meaning number of troops and equipment. The world has sanctioned Russia. No, I'm sorry, not the world. Europe, US, Canada, few other nations have sanctioned Russia. Means nothing. I'm just telling you it means nothing. Sure, it affects them, but it's nothing. Their oil exports went up to the highest level ever. I showed you for this year. I showed you that last night. This today was vitally important, and for us to hear these statements come out of Putin today and Lukashenko, although he's nothing, he's just a puppet, but to come out of Putin, he's not backing up. And I hate to say it, but I think you guys know, you're here with me every night, and you're smart. The world is on its heels. Europe's on its heels. America is definitely on its heels, wobbling, because even though there was projections of this happening, I just don't think EU and US expected to this level. So what level would you say? How about this? Rostov. Here is a map for you of Rostov, and right above the Sea of Azov, blue line is the border. On the left is Ukraine. On the right is Russia. From Rostov to the border is 75 miles. From the border to Mariupol is 30 miles. Rostov is circled in the red. The red line going from Rostov to Mariupol from right to left is the seaside highway. It goes through Taganrog. It then crosses the border and goes directly to Mariupol. Coming through Rostov on the way to Taganrog and on the way ultimately to Mariupol, this is what was on the road yesterday.
Правильно боятся, ёпта. О, это колонна В. Это, между прочим, охренеть. Извините за выражение, прошу прощения. Сейчас я же на камеру снимаю. Да, ребят, я вижу тувинцев или бурятов. Судя по тому, что, смотрите, наш флаг имперский. Да, ребят, это колонна В. Я полагаю, что это та самая колонна, которая была под Киевом. Я могу, конечно, ошибиться, меня поправят. Вы посмотрите, сколько здесь машин. Все стоят, готовые. В течение ближайших нескольких дней начнется крупнейшая операция.
I showed you the other day.
Со времен Второй мировой войны.
Actually, I showed you yesterday the columns. Actually, it's been like 3 or 4 days in a row I've showed you different columns coming. Folks, these are not in Ukraine yet. They may be by today. They're coming. Each night, I get new videos in the middle of the night because it's the daytime there of the columns coming.
Русские флаги.
And folks, I mean, it's reality, and it's coming, and they're coming. I want to give you an update now. I know everybody wants to know the update on Mariupol. I have the update on Mariupol, and I think we'll start here. Then I'm going to tell you a little story about Mariupol, and get your reading eyes ready. Here's from one of the regiment guys.
Вчора окупанти використали проти військових та цивільних осіб Маріуполя отруйну речовину невідомого походження. Епіцентр дії речовини був віддалений від місця перебування людей, тож це посприяло як мінімальному контакту з речовиною, що, можливо, врятувало їм життя, але є наслідки. Зараз неможливо провести аналіз і з'ясувати, якою речовиною було отруєно людей, адже перебуваємо в повній блокаді, а епіцентр ураження обстрілюється росіянами, в тому числі з метою знищення доказів свого злочину. Дещо дивує те, що маючи тисячі вбитих росіянами цивільних Маріуполі, всі заговорили про нас лише після атаки хімічною речовиною, хоча місто щоденно піддається атакам авіації, флотом, важкими вогнеметними системами, артилерією, а також фосфорними боєприпасами.
До нас надійшли постраждалі з ознаками можливого застосування хімічної зброї. Серед цих ознак були виражені гіперемія обличчя, підвищення артеріального тиску, сухість та печія в області ротоглотки, слизових ділянок очей, Враховуючи наші умови і в наших умовах, була надана постраждалим симптоматична, невідкладна медична допомога.
Ну, мы сильно не выходили, мы еле, на первый еле дошли, глянули, хотели подышать обстановку, глянуть просто. Смотрим, там белым-бело, по заводу вообще, белым-бело. Стало сразу плохо, шум в ушах, тахикардия, сердце и слабость, падаешь и все. Еле сюда добежал сверху, то есть там 10 метров расстояние. И мамка вообще отъезжала, 3 раза еле откачали. А вообще сердце останавливается, оно все, глаза закатываются и все. Мы двое были, а потом мамка стала плохо тут уже. Сквозняк, вентиляция по-любому, и тут вытяжки, вентиляция по-любому затянула легко. У всех одинаково, Слабость, температура сейчас в конце уже, под утро еще пошла температура. Тахикардия, шум в ушах, и давление падает, походу, или поднимается, что ты вообще ничего, ты не можешь действовать. 5 шагов прошел и падаешь сразу, все. Я там пробыл минуту-две и спустился сюда, чуть там 5 метров, я уже чувствую, шум в ушах уже пошел, понял. А сюда пришел вообще, я еле с лавки стал. Слабо из-за того, что ты ничего не можешь, вообще ходить не можешь. Стоял такой, как туман вообще. Откуда, что, я не знаю, по заводу, по территории, как туман вообще. Белый такой дым, не знаю. И сладкий какой-то такой привкус какой-то, не знаю, чего это.
Нам надо эвакуировать отсюда. Мы мирные жители, и это такое случилось. 3 раза приступ, сознание теряла, тут еле спасли. Ногами не могу ходить.
А здоров'ям у вас до цього все було нормально, так?
Было нормально, да.
Угу.
Ми були на позиції в укритті. Відчули якийсь вибух. Піднялися перевірити, що до чого. Піднялися. І я побачив такий як туман. Більше схожий на дим. Він не густий, але такий схожий на дим. Скомандували в укриття. І коли заходили, я відчув задуху. Дуже важко було дихати. Практично не міг вдохнути. І одразу вже запаморочення в голові, ноги підкашуються, ніби вони якісь ватні. Дали команду вдягнути протигази. І все, вдягнули протигази, і відчув себе дуже погано. Дуже погано дихати. Що воно таке, непонятно. Що воно було.
За результатами проведеного огляду можна зробити висновок, що були застосовані або отруйні, бойові отруйні речовини, або сильнодіючі отруйні речовини, переважно задушливої дії. На жаль, повну верифікацію діагнозу провести не можна, оскільки ми знаходимося в повній блокаді і токсикологічний аналіз ми виконати не можемо. Саме тому пацієнтам була надана допомога з урахуванням максимального перекриття усіх можливих видів всіх речовин.
So there you have it, folks. That's the update. I upscaled that video as much as I could to clear it up. But that's coming right from the heart of Mariupol. So here's what we know. That was firsthand testimonies. Yes, they were hit with gas. The mayor, the city council, and the Azov have stated without a doubt it was not the phosphorus munitions. They were hit with the gas. B, they do not know which gas it was. And C, fortunately, it was small. It came out of a UAV. It was almost like a test run is what they are saying. So was it done? Yes. Mass devastation? No. Do we know what it was? No. And that's the video that I could get out to show you guys. And that video is 100%. No, listen, down there in Mariupol, I can tell you right now, they do not have any gear in Mariupol. None. Folks, Mariupol's about done. Unless there's a miracle. They're out of everything. And speaking of that, let's go here. A British volunteer fighter in Ukraine has been captured by Russian troops in the besieged city, southeastern port of Mariupol, according to a statement issued on his behalf. This is his picture. He gave a statement. This is a Brit, Aidan Aslan, 28 years old, who goes by the name Johnny, said his unit had tried. This is an English speaker. This is not a translation from Russian or Ukrainian. Tried. He said his unit had tried its best to defend Mariupol, but had no choice but to surrender to Russian forces. We have no food and no ammunition. He says, it's been a pleasure, everyone. I hope the war ends soon. He added, he is hoping he could become part of a prisoner exchange. That's from a Brit. That's English, no translation. They're in big trouble, folks. And the column of troops I was showing you, they're coming straight to Mariupol. Folks, this is what's happening all throughout eastern Ukraine. On the right, you see a World War II Nazi document that talks about the relocation of people, promising them things, a new life, jobs, money, a salary. On the left, you see the same thing, but it's not from World War II. It's from the Russia-Ukraine war that is happening right now. These leaflets, and you can see the QR code there. Let me make it a little bigger for you. The QR code. These people are being, these leaflets are placed everywhere. And basically what it is promising is jobs, relocate to Russia, a future, a plan, a hope. What happened in World War II, the document on the right, is the exact thing that is happening in 2022. This, folks, is unbelievable. And this takes them to the far east of Russia with all these promises. It's bad news, folks. Finally, remember when 15 minutes ago I was translating what Putin and Lukashenko said, and Lukashenko said about the trifecta of India, China, and Russia? Folks, here it is. Today, India plans to additionally increase supplies to Russia by another $2 billion to offset the supply of products banned from export to Russia by sanctions. The administration of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is negotiating with Moscow on opening the Russian market access for a number of Indian-made products. The governments of the two countries are currently working to regulate trade in rupees and rubles. India has no limits on any Russian imports. I want to remind you of something. It was only 2 days ago that President Biden called Modi and says, be careful trading with Russia. Do you remember that? You probably saw it on your news that you watch. You may have seen it on the financial news you watch, maybe a CNBC or whatever, Fox Business, whatever you watch. It was a pretty big story 2 days ago. Biden calls India. Well, there's India's answer, folks. Full support of Russia. No sanctions. And now we want to go into partnership. We will supply you with what the sanctions are taking away. It is not a good thing. Last couple of things. Putin's warning for the West. Vladimir vows consequences for those who interfere in Ukraine as he threatens to create waves of migrants in Europe after a missile system is moved towards Finland amid NATO row. So here's the deal, folks. Yesterday, Russia began moving troops to the Finnish border. They moved them right to that little point. If you look at that map, I'll make it bigger. See the word Finland. Look straight to the right. I should have put a circle here for you. And then you see the little inset, little kick in. That's where the Russian troops are. Putin moved them right to the border as soon as Finland said, we're going to join NATO. Finally, this is the city of Kharkiv. It's not snow on the ground now. This is a couple of weeks or older. Actually, it's older than that. I pulled this picture because there's no devastation. But this was a picture I was trying to find just to show you the size of this city. One thing about this culture that you need to understand is people live in the streets, not like homeless people. What I mean is very community oriented. People are always in the streets, always in the cafes, always walking in the streets. The number one hobby is to walk in the streets. That's what people do. They're friendly and have relations and go to sit on the corner and have a cup of coffee and talk. That's Ukrainian culture. Folks, check this out. This is inside Kharkiv.
Да, пошел. Давай, открывай.
Вот такое у нас теперь окно. Свет Божий.
Давай свет Божий покажем, что там, открой.
Downtown Kharkiv, just look quickly, every window gone. The other thing I want you to see is no people. That's the main thing I want you to see. No people. It is not possible for there not to be people walking around Kharkiv in the daylight. There's no people there. In these areas, they've had to leave. And another guy gave a report today, and I'm not playing it. It's all in Russian, but he says Kharkiv is just being destroyed and devastated. And folks, we know that is their target. Hey, been a great hour together, full of updates. No, you don't want to mess with Finland. They're some bad boys. They are some bad boys. But of course, if Finland joins NATO, that's a game changer. I just got notice that Ukraine captured Putin's best friend. Yes, Bob Piccirilli, they did. It's actually his godfather. He was in Ukraine. They captured him. It's no big deal because Putin won't do anything about it. We need to capture Putin. So that's where we're at. Hey, folks, I always like to at least give you a smile for the day. I got about a 20-second clip. You know, we've started to really appreciate Mr. Boris Johnson. I think he's doing a pretty good job trying to bring some hope for this war. And you know what? How about 28 seconds of why we like Boris Johnson? Because he's a normal human being. You know what, Boris? We like you, buddy. He's one of a kind. Folks, thank you, as always. Been a solid hour together. Who knows what will happen in the next 23, but we'll be on top of it. And for sure, I'll have some stuff from Jania tomorrow. May the Lord bless you. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, all of that stuff, being active, telling others, giving, praying. We love you. And peace upon you and Ukraine. See you in 23 hours.